I'm one of those guys that graduated from high school in 1974 and didn't graduate from college until 1991. I was on the 17-year plan. Not many people were aware of that one. And the sad part was I was in school virtually that whole 17 years. All right, but it took me a long time to graduate, but I did eventually get my BS degree, and those of you who know me know that I earned it. All right, my professional careers, I started with the city of Mansfield. I worked there for 27 years. I'm one of those guys that retired and went to work again. I was retired for 15 hours when I went to work for Arlington. And at the time, the Arlington Economic Development was done in the Chamber of Commerce. And so I worked for the Chamber. And I was there until just right after the cowboy election when I was fortunate enough to get hired out here. And we've come out here, and my family has fallen in love with this community. My daughter was still living with us when we moved here, but my son was living in Arlington. He's moved out here to go to work here. My mom and dad moved out here. We love this place, and hopefully we'll spend the rest of our time right here in Hopkins County because we really like it here. Now, let's talk about economic development. All right, and the first question we got is, what is economic development? A lot of people wonder about that, and it's hard to define. Anybody in here want to define economic development? Yeah, didn't think so. Well, it's one of those things that you know it when you see it. You may not be able to define it, but you know it when you see it. But for our discussions tonight, we're going to talk about it in the realm of its creation of wealth within the community. Right? And it's a process. And it's a process that every community is going through. I'll guarantee you there are meetings held in New York City when they're trying to decide what they're going to be when they grow up. Okay? You go to Dallas, they have meetings trying to figure out where they're going to be, where they're going to grow to. And it's the same thing here. We're trying to figure out what we want to be when we grow up, and it's this creation of wealth. Now, this is done in the private sector. Okay? The private sector. It's not done in the public sector. Sorry, Beth. Not done in the public sector. It's done in the private sector. And it's really about creation of jobs and the creation of new business opportunities. It's it's motherhood and apple pie. It's creating jobs or getting jobs here that give someone, and we talk about quality jobs, and a quality job is one that pays a living wage, has a career ladder associated with it, and has benefits. Of course, as you said, Obama's going to take care of part of our benefit problem. But we want benefits with our jobs so that people can have enough money to raise their families, buy houses, and create this wealth within the community. If you want to argue with me on any of this stuff, please jump up. The size of the business, I hear a lot of times that economic development, all y'all are interested is big business, big business. Really, that's not true. What we're interested in is the right kind of business. All right? I met 2 weeks ago with a company that there were 2 owners and 5 employees. 7 total people worked at this company, and we talked to them about moving their plant here from, believe it or not, Michigan. And I can understand why they want to leave Michigan. But still, it was not a huge company, and it doesn't have to be a huge company for us to get involved. A lot of times people also confuse us and they think we're in the giveaway business. Nothing could be farther from the truth. We're in the investing business. If it's a bad business or a bad decision for a bank or a bad decision for a business, it's bad for us. When we invest money in a company, we expect to get a return on that investment. Now, our return on investments is in the number of jobs that are created, the pay scale for those jobs, whether there's benefits associated with them, whether or not they're going to be tax-paying entities. All right? That's how we get our return. But we don't give anything away. When we make an incentive investment, it is because that company is worth that much to our community. Now, what is an economy? Everyone in this room has an economy at your house. It's how much money you have to spend. Okay? Now, a lot of us have different size economies. Some of them got more zeros behind them than others, but we all got them. We all spend money on housing, transportation, food, utilities, and all of those sorts of things around our homes. And the economy in Hopkins County is nothing more than all of our collected money within it brought together into one pie. And if you notice, that is a pie. That's because fat guys like pie, okay? That's why we use that chart. Besides that, I think it does describe what we do quite well. And it really doesn't matter how big that pie is, because what we're talking about is making it bigger, trying to grow that pie. All right? And how do we go about doing that? Now, we talk about Hopkins County as an economy, but all the state economy is all of those counties put together, and all the U.S. economy is all the states put together, and so on. So you see, that's how they come up with those numbers, and I guarantee you if we brought an economist in here, we brought 3 economists in here, we'd get 4 different answers on exactly how big our economy is. But all we really need to know is it's how we spend our money. Now, we want to talk about primary jobs because that's really the root of our program, is primary jobs. And the definition that we're going to call for primary jobs is something that it's a job that creates goods or services that are ultimately consumed somewhere other than here. Doesn't matter where they're consumed, somewhere other than here. Now, the reason for that is, remember we're wanting to grow that pie? Well, the way you grow that pie is you bring jobs in here that's bringing money from somewhere else, we don't care where, to Sulphur Springs or to Hopkins County. And when that happens, when they bring that new money in here, that pie gets bigger. And that's how that wealth grows. It's by bringing money from somewhere else. Owens is a good example. Owens, if you eat a sausage biscuit that says Owens on it, or their parent company is Bob Evans Farms. So if you eat a Bob Evans sausage biscuit, maybe at one of their restaurants or somewhere else, anywhere in the United States, all 50 states, Alaska or Hawaii, it came from Sulphur Springs. If you eat one in Canada, it came from Sulphur Springs. If you eat one in Mexico, it came from Sulphur Springs. We're the only place where they make those little sausage biscuits. Okay? So when you bought your sausage biscuit in Alaska or Chicago, the money you spent on that comes back here to pay the salaries of those people that are making those sausage biscuits. All right? Now, you may say, well, Net Data, they don't make biscuits. They don't make sausage, anything like that. No, they have an intellectual property is what we talk about there. And so they sell pretty much exclusively to counties. We only got one county, so they have to sell them in other counties. So again, they're selling their intellectual property somewhere else, you know, Tyler or Austin or wherever they're selling it, and they're bringing this money back here to pay jobs. Fidelity Express, what do they sell? They sell a service. You know, because I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can go into one of their places of business, which are convenience stores, but you go in there and you can pay your electric bill, your water bill, you can pay your ticket, all of these things in, I believe it's 23 different states. But it all comes to Sulphur Springs. If you remember a few months ago when we had the telephone outage, they were threatened with lawsuits out of Florida because people couldn't pay their electric bill in Florida. They were turned into the PUC in New York State because the phone line was cut in Texas that went to their plant or their processing center. So they're selling a service that's consumed somewhere else. And that money that they get in New York City or at, you know, Miami Beach comes back here to pay those salaries. So that's what we're talking about. You bring those new jobs in here that are the right kind of jobs. One, it's the right kind of job. It grows the economy. It creates the wealth that we're looking for.